This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Flagstaff SE tent camper, model 228 SE. Alright, now this is not a floor plan video, this is not a sales video. I'm going to basically go through some of the features, some on the inside, or most on the inside and some on the outside, and just tell you a little bit more about them. When it comes to setting this up and breaking it down, you want to use your video from the manufacturer. It's an excellent video when it shows you how to go about that. I'm just going to spend a little more time talking to you about the appliances and the features, okay? First of all, as a trailer owner, you have to inspect the seals of the trailer. Doesn't matter who made it or what type of trailer it is, that it applies to all of them. The manufacturers say every 90 days. So with this particular trailer, you're going to look at see the corner cap up there. There's obviously four corner caps. It's the black plastic piece that curves up there. You're always going to check the sealant on that to make sure it's all tight, no cracks or separation. Also, there's let me just look in here to make sure before I tell you something that's not true. Yeah, also if you look up there, there's a power vent. Always make sure you look on the outside, up on the roof, look at the sealant around that power vent and make sure it's good and tight. Also, you'll look at any place you see caulk on the sides, like this molding here. Just look, and any place you see caulk from the factory, just check it out and make sure it's good and tight. You do that on a regular basis, and 20 years from now, this thing will still be bone dry inside. I've seen them from the 90s, and they're still really tight inside. But all trailers have to be inspected and resealed as needed. Okay? All right. So I'm just going to tell you that your griddle hangs right here. It's inside the trailer now. We'll show you a bit more about that when you pick it up, but this is the quick connect that attaches it to the LP system of the trailer. Okay. You have an outside speaker. Now this particular port here, this is for your fresh water tank. Most commonly, you'll use the city water hookup, which is on the other side. I'll show you when I get over there, to get water to the trailer. So if you have city water, you hook the hose up on the other side there, turn it on, and you're all set. If you're going to a campground that does not have plumbing on the campsites, like an older state park or something more rustic, you can pre-fill this tank and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. Okay? All right, so the door, this is the screen door, obviously. It fits right in just like you see it. And it stores. That'll be part of the setup video, but I just wanted you to know that the travel door, the little half door that's there when you're traveling, that's it right there. It attaches with hinges on this side and a piece of bungee over here, and it just gets out of the way while you're camping. It stows it up there, okay? Now this has a cassette toilet in it. The best way to find out about the cassette toilet is there's a manual inside, but there are some excellent manufacturers' videos put out by Thetford, so I highly recommend that. But basically this is a portable black tank. You can pull this up and it comes right out, and you take it to the dump station and dump it that way and clean it out that way. So look at it as a portable black tank. I'll show you how it up inside where the levers are and that sort of thing inside, but that's a Thetford cassette toilet. Okay? Now there's a little shower inside, and this is the drain for the shower right there. Okay? You do get a fitting that screws on there. It's got like a barb on it, so you can put a hose on there and put it wherever you need to. Into a bucket or a sewer or whatever you're going to do. Okay, this slides out here. It'd be best to put like your griddle in here, hoses, anything you're going to be using outside. You can access it from the top here, but only when the bed is in the in position. So when the bed is out, you can access it by pulling it out. Okay. Okay. I did mention, I guess, that there are 4 stabilizer jacks. Okay. You always got to drop the back one for sure, because if you get too many people in the back, the front will kind of pop up unless you have the jacks down, all right? It just takes a 3/4 inch crank, which comes with the trailer, Some people use a 3/4 inch socket on a drill. It's up to you. Okay, so this has electric brakes, and that's just your breakaway switch. Again, we'll show you that when we show you how to hitch up. This has 2 deep cycle marine batteries in here. So the thing to recall is that, or to remember, is the batteries are wired together as 12 volts. So basically you're just taking 2 batteries and wiring them together so you double your storage capacity. So any kind of solar power is put into the battery. Also, when your power converter, which is inside the trailer, when you're plugged in, it charges your battery. And then of course you have a little inverter which will invert the 12 volts to 110 AC. So it goes from 12 volt DC to 110 AC, that's inversion. And I also mentioned you have a converter inside, which I'll show you when we get there, which does the opposite. It converts AC to DC power, so you go from regular household current, 110 AC, down to, over to 12 volt DC, okay? And you have 2 LP tanks, automatic changeover regulator, okay? Let's see what else we have here. Okay. So, this is your city water hookup right here. This is the most common way to get water to the trailer, like I told you over on the other side, right? This is your drain for your sink, and it's got a garden hose type fitting, so you can make up a hose for that. This is the plug for your air conditioner. You have to plug it in now, so it's easiest to plug it in while the top or the roof is still down. So plug it in and then crank it up. This is a sprayer hookup for outside sprayer / shower. I'll show you that when we get inside. You have it's a 30 amp system, so you got a 30-foot 30 amp cord, power cord that goes with it. All right. Does it come off? Don't we? Oh, actually, it was in the right position to come off. We put these vertically. Okay. And take this off. And this is the controls for your refrigerator. Now this is a 3-way refrigerator, meaning it'll run on 110 AC, it'll run on 12 volt DC, and it'll run on LP gas. Only use one energy source at the same time, or at a time, like it says right here. Never double up on them. So when you're plugged in at the campground, you're just going to turn that on like that. That's 110 AC. If you're pulling it down the road, you could turn that on and it'll run off to the batteries, and the batteries will be charged by the alternator. If you go like this to high and depress it and then spark it there, it'll light over here and you can run it on gas. So you have 3 options. Okay. This is your water heater. It runs on gas. I just want to show you that that's the drain for it right there, the drain plug. It takes an 1 1/16 socket, 6-point socket, so you can drain it right there. Now it has to be bypassed before you put antifreeze in the winter. You'll have to learn about that if you don't already know. But it has to be winterized because all the plumbing has to be winterized so it doesn't freeze in the winter. So keep that in mind. There are valves under the bench seat that's right inside the trailer here. Okay? All right. So I think we've got it. Let's go inside. Your awning, everything is contained in the awning. All the rafter and the poles and the crossbar, all that, those are all folded right into the awning. So you can't lose anything because it's all attached. All right. Okay. So here we go. Air conditioner's running. We're just prepping it to make sure everything works good. So I'm going to shut that off. Okay. All right. So I mentioned your sprayer. This is it right here, and this is a wand you can put on instead of the pistol grip type sprayer. You can use that. This is for your shore cord. This is your battery cover, and this is your packet with all of your brochures and everything in it. Okay. You also get 2 of these mattress heaters. They're actually the controller. You can see it plugs in right over here on the left. So you put this end into the mattress. The regular 110 plug goes into the nearest 110 outlet, which is right there, and you can adjust the temperature this way. Now it doesn't warm it. It's just or I should say, it doesn't heat. It's just a warmer. It takes the the chill out of the mattress, okay? You also get these are shower curtains for the track that's around your shower and toilet area there. And then you get a fan light combo and a regular light with it, okay? Those plug in right here, okay? This is just a table that hangs next to your grill, or in this case a griddle. This is your griddle over here, and this is the rack that it sits on when you hang it on the side of the trailer. Of course, this is your stabilizer crank there. Now make sure you take the plastic off of the mattresses. Occasionally I'll see somebody who's left it on for years, and what happens is moisture gets under there and it can really rot or mess up your mattress. So you always want this plastic off so it's breathable. Also, let me see here. Just want to look real quick to see what's under here. Okay, let me run back outside. I'll show you this. Okay, let's try another one. It's not. Well, we have a mystery going here. Let me look inside and see where I overlooked it. There are two support poles, these brackets that fit over the poles. I might have to make sure they're here. And basically what they do is they just give the roof more support. Yeah, I'm glad I looked for that because I don't see them. I'll make sure they're in here, and we'll show you when you pick up your trailer there. We definitely have them. They're just, I'm not sure where they're at. But anyway, one goes on each corner on this lifter post that I was just looking at, and you just sort of, it's low tech, you just slam it into place, and basically if a tree falls on the roof when you're out in the woods, it just makes it a lot stronger so it can't collapse down. So that's all it is. I'll make sure that's straightened out for when you pick up. Now I told you that the valves for your bypass valves for your water heater are under this bench here. The table obviously drops down for travel, but you can also turn it into a bed by setting it on these cleats, right? This is your cassette toilet / shower. Self-explanatory there. Like I said, you have to read the manual to get a good understanding of how the chemicals and everything work with this, but you've got a water button and a flush button here. Okay. This device here is the power converter. So we talked outside about inversion and conversion. So let me get down here and lower if I can. So this converts. So it takes 110 AC and converts it to 12 volt DC. So on this side you got regular household type circuit breakers, 110 AC, and they're labeled. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here. And you see you got 12 volt fuses and they're all labeled right down there. Okay. So that's where the 12 volt power comes from. It can also draw from the battery, but when you're plugged in, this will charge the battery also, or batteries in your case also. So it's a battery charger. It's semi-smart too. It will basically it'll sense how much energy your batteries need, and if they're low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs, and if they're topped off, it'll just trickle a couple up there to keep them maintained. All right. Now, I also mentioned that this also inverts, which is the opposite. That's taking 12 volt DC and turning it into 110 AC. So anytime you want to invert, you just turn that on. Okay? Very simple. Hold it for a second to shut it off. Alright. You're only going to turn that on when you want to invert power. And in this trailer, I didn't prep this part, but I will bet that this is the plug that's inverted right here. Everything is not inverted, just one plug. Alright, so also this is where you light your water heater right here. Okay, always make sure there's water in the tank before you do that. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector right here. It should always be green like it is. And if it goes off, obviously you're going to take everybody outside and open the door and shut off the gas and figure out what's going on. Also, if it beeps very slowly, it's telling you that the battery's low. So it's also a low battery alarm. Okay. This is some of your stuff. This is a water filter and a wrench for it right here. If you'd unscrew this door right here, so anytime you see a door with hinges on both sides, you know there's some kind of plumbing or electricity behind there, but you would take this hinge off, and you look back there and you'll see a water filter canister. You slide this, if you choose to use the water filter, you would slide this over the canister and spin it off and put this filter in. If you use it, you got to change it every year. So you throw it out when you winterize in the fall or early winter, and then after you de-winterize in the spring, you put a new one in. Okay, that's a remote for your radio, obviously. I mentioned that the sink drain, there's a barb that screws on there. That's it right there. That has to. This is just a tool you use to set the stops on your roof, the lift system stops. Of course, that's already set. And then there's some curtain clips there also. Right now, when you're raising the roof, and this is taut like this, you know that the door will fit in correctly. That's what it's for, is to make sure the roof's at the right height to accept the door. Okay, I won't go into the door because that's in the setup video, but okay. So now let me get down here a little lower. We're not out in the sun right now, so I can't show you how this works just because we have no sun coming in. But basically, this is going to tell us if your battery's charged. First of all, it'll say they're 100%. Now there's only one battery. There's two, but they're wired together as one, so you only use button B. Okay, it won't show them independently. So it'll also tell you how many amp hours you got in the batteries and how much solar power you're generating. So that all happens here. Okay, that's your radio. Obviously, it's got Bluetooth and AM, FM radio, all the common things. Okay, here. These are lights, and then this is a Wi-Fi Ranger here. There's actually a device on the roof that boosts your signals, your Wi-Fi signals. And basically, I'm trying to get low enough so I can see here, and so you can see. You can trust me when I tell you there's 3 lines here. The top line tells you the name of your Wi-Fi Ranger. So when you're looking on your family's devices, your phones, tablets, you go into Wi-Fi and you'll find your Wi-Fi Ranger, which is called Sky4 3257. It looks like. You'll know that's you, and you'll put in your password so it will connect automatically. Then the bottom line is an IP address. So you're just going to punch that into a browser, and it'll take you to the web page for this device, and there's a temporary password right in the middle. And you'll basically see, if you log into that, you'll see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. So this is a really good digital signal booster. It gives you a better Wi-Fi, a stronger signal, that sort of thing. And it has a built-in firewall also. So it's a good thing in that sense. You also can put a SIM card in it, and there's an option for cellular. But that's something you'd have to pay through your cellular carrier and that sort of thing. But so that's an option. But most people just use the public Wi-Fi. Okay. Let's get up here. Of course, this turns into a bed. This is your furnace right here, and the thermostat is right here. Always make sure that you go all the way to the left with it, like that. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. I think we've about covered everything up. Now when this comes in down position, you can see how the lights go out. There are 2 buttons there that are kill switches, so they have to be depressed for the lights to come on. Okay. Your roof vent has got 3 speeds to it. You crank it up here. Make sure you unlatch it right here before you crank it up. You got to latch it so it doesn't let water seep in when you're going down the road. You keep it good and tight. That's just a glass tube fuse behind there, so you know what that is. You set your speeds there, okay? Alrighty. Let me look and see if I forgot anything. Like I said, this is basically a supplemental video, so. Okay. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit, and please remember what I told you about inspecting the roof seals every 90 days, or the seals period every 90 days. Any place you see caulk or sealant from the factory, just give it a good look over. And some years, sometime you're going to need to touch it up, but when you do need to touch it up, touch it up. You never use caulk from a hardware store. Always go to an RV place. And this one has something called clear Proflex. You'll use on the sides and the corner caps, for example. So always use the right stuff. Okay. Thank you very much.